We opened Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4 with the classic voiceover narration like we saw in the first 3 films. Except this time, things are different. We learn in the time gap that ever since Harry died, Peter had distanced himself from everyone. He took 5 years to recover and catch a break, but it wasn't enough. Now, MJ is moved on. She's with someone else, and Peter missed his chance. He's pushed people away, and now he's to the brink of nothing. And his arc is set up in this film. We will then get a scene of Peter talking to Aunt May, mirroring the final scene of Spider-Man 3, but this time Aunt May will tell Peter that if he really loves people, and really loves the people closest to him, he can't let them go. He needs to let them in and make up for his mistakes. Peter will take this advice to heart and will stop by the Bugle wanting his old job back. But Jameson says the Spider-Man has been gone for 5 years. And if Peter can magically get a photo of him, then he'll have his job back. Peter knows the Spider-Man is a part of his life that brought him so much destruction, so he can't. However, Jameson calls him back, saying there's a new vigilante on the streets called the Black Cat, and if Peter can get a photo of her, he can have his job back. We then get introduced to our main antagonist of the film, Adrian Toomes. We learn that Toomes is a scientist who has been trying to create something that will help him, and he has a lot of big investors, meaning that this new tech that he's developing is called the military. The new tech Toomes is making is called the aerodynamic flight suit. He believes he can use it to cure his dying wife. However, he needs money and equipment, and we will learn that the man who's funding Toomes' project is none other than a man known as Wilson Fisk, or as he is known as the Kingpin. Kingpin tells Toomes that he will help him get his money back, but Toomes needs to come up with a prototype. After Fisk leaves, Toomes knows he needs another way to make money, so this will be the catalyst for Toomes turning to crime. He puts on the prototype and decides to use it to rob some banks to get money, because in his mind, this will help his wife and it is for the greater good. Toomes will fly into the bank, using this suit to slaughter and kill several people, and the Vulture will be represented as a menacing foe. However, just before he can finish the job, the Black Cat swings in, fighting him. She will be introduced as some sort of hero, a rookie who has just arrived on the scene but is quite heroic. Peter will be in the back taking pictures. He thinks about suiting up as Spider-Man, but he doesn't, remembering that that's not what he needs. And this will further elevate how Peter has put Spider-Man on the backbone. However, the Black Cat swings in and takes down the Vulture, but he manages to escape with all the money. Peter then arrives at the Bugle the next day, meeting Jonah and telling him that he got some pictures of this new Black Cat character. He hands them to him, but Jameson says that there is a new photographer who already got pictures. Her name is Felicia Hart. Felicia introduces herself to Peter and they shake hands. Peter is disappointed. This was supposed to be his big break, a way to pay the bills. This will be a wake-up call for Peter, how he isn't able to fix all of his problems like he originally thought. It will then be reported on the news that another crime is going down. It's the Master of Illusions, Mysterio, who has been behind a lot of the low-level crime building up. Black Cat will show up to stop him once again, but it won't be any good, as Mysterio will prove to be a genuine threat, pinning her to the floor of his beams until Peter makes the ultimate decision. He gets his mask and suits up as Spider-Man, but it won't feel real. There won't be the music. He'll only return as Spider-Man because he has to. He'll take down Mysterio, and he will be played by Bruce Campbell. Black Cat asks Spider-Man where he went all those years. Spider-Man says that he's back now, and that's all that matters. People start cheering, just like in the last 3 films. It's expatiated how the people now support Spider-Man once again. We then get a scene of Peter coming to the Bugle, trying to get the photos, but once again, Felicia has beaten it to him. However, we will sort of see in the scene that Jameson is a bit suspicious of Peter. How he all of a sudden has been getting pictures at exactly the right moment Spider-Man shows up. We've never seen Jameson be suspicious like this, and it makes Peter worry a bit. Peter and MJ then meet the next day for a lunch date, but something feels off. There's a spark missing between them. MJ tells Peter that he hurt her, In that time that they were gone, he just left, just because of what was happening to Harry, because it was hurting him. Peter tells her that he loved her, and he was different, but they can try again, but MJ says that she'll always be there for him as a friend, but it's too late, she has someone else. MJ storms off, leaving Peter alone in the restaurant. Peter's going through this phase right now. Whenever he thinks something's going his way, something else spirals out of control. Toombs will meanwhile be checking on his wife's condition. She's getting worse. Because of the technology and the money he made wasn't enough, it's not going to last. Fisk tells Toombs that if he isn't able to deliver, he'll have to stop funding him. We get a sort of little tease that he's busy with Daredevil right now. Toombs assures him that it will work, and as he hangs up the phone, he gets his vulture gear and puts it on. The vulture starts causing trouble, robbing banks, going through cities, and Peter has to suit up as Spider-Man. He arrives on the scene, but the vulture is too powerful, knocking him to the floor, and once again, Black Cat swings in to help. However, the next day, Felicia once again has photos to give to Jameson. Peter's had enough. He comes up to her and asks her how she does it, and she tells Peter to follow her. Black Cat reveals it was easy for her to figure out that Peter was Spider-Man by the number of bruises, injury cuts, elementary things like that. This will be a first. This is the first person in the Raimi-verse to directly figure out that Peter is Spider-Man. Peter tells Felicia that means she's Black Cat, and she smiles. They both have this connection to each other. They don't know why or they don't know how, but they love each other. They look at each other, lean in, and kiss. It's a strong kiss, a powerful one that means who they are. Unfortunately, MJ is below them, and she watches everything, and a tear goes down her cheek. We then cut to Adrian in his laboratory. He says that his plans are falling in motion. He wants Spider-Man to pay for what he did to him, but he needs the money. He needs to get away to save his wife, but this will be the catalyst. Adrian will die in this. Adrian's wife will die. He watches her fall to the floor and is furious. He blames Spider-Man for this. If it wasn't for Spider-Man, if he was a hero like he thought, he would have saved his wife. But Adrian is now ready to get revenge on Spider-Man himself, and he fully embraces his role as the Vulture. Peter slowly starts to be affected by this, as now the Vulture is on a crime spree, robbing banks, pulling heists, doing everything. He doesn't know if he can do this, if he can stop this menace. And with the Black Cat's newfound heroics, people seem to be appreciating her. Peter and Felicia are now at a roadblock. They don't talk. Ever since that kiss, it's like a wedge has been driven between them. They both don't know what to say, and it's a big separation for the two. This scene will be the climax as Peter is in his room. There will be no audio for a second until Aunt May comes in. She says that she just knows something's bothering him for a while. They all have. That something's been up with Peter. He hasn't been the same, and she wants to help. Peter says that he doesn't know what to do. It's like every move he makes, it's back on the chessboard. He just wished that he knew how to make the right decision. May holds his hands, saying that he just needs to trust himself and that he can make the right decision. Peter realizes that's the problem. He's been relying on everything else other than himself. He needs to let everyone in and let the entire world see him for who he is. Peter puts on his mask again and swings to stop the Vulture, who this time is with a rage. They engage in combat. The Vulture has the upper hand and pulls off Peter's mask, seeing who he is. Peter starts to panic. Knowing with Adrian's knowledge of who he really is, this could be bad. Peter calls the Black Cat on their number, but there's no answer. This is Peter's problem. He's pushed everyone away. There is no one he can turn to for help. Peter knows that Adrian will most likely deduce who he is, so he tries running a search in the database for an Adrian Toombs and where Toombs could be, but he can't find anything on him. It's almost like the man's invisible. He then tries calling MJ, but there's no answer. Peter realizes Toombs could have got to her. He puts his mask on and swings to MJ's house, but she's gone. Peter is now realizing the full consequences of his actions. By pushing everyone away, he has ultimately lost everything. He's got to do something before it begins to get worse. Spider-Man arrives at the George Washington Bridge, and the Vulture is holding MJ, preparing to kill her. Spider-Man dives down, but it's too late. MJ's gonna fall, and the Vulture grabs Peter so he can't save her. But out of nowhere, the Black Cat swings in. She tells Peter that she knows what it's like to forget the people that he's closest to. MJ tells Peter that she's sorry for everything. She never should have pushed him away, and Peter says the same. Black Cat says that she'll always be there when he needs him, but Toombs isn't done. He tries to impale Peter. Peter dodges out of the way, and Toombs falls to the floor, dying from the blade. As we come to the end of our first film in the trilogy.